where's the clicker thing? Here we go. Hi, my name is Andrew Luba. Thanks for having me tonight. I also want to thank my mom, who's watching on the live stream, for being an inspiring woman. So, innovation is a pretty important word, but I think it's something that most of us don't really know that much about. We don't know how it was used in the past, what it means to different people now, or really what makes someone or something particularly innovative. But I think it's definitely a word worth exploring because it has a lot of power in shaping our society now and what our society might be like in the future. So I wanted to approach innovation with some questions. And what I found was that the way a lot of people in North America are thinking about innovation might be problematic. When we're talking about innovation, what we might really be talking about is misinnovation. So I want to share with you how I came to this idea of misinnovation while exploring innovation. So I started off just by asking some basic questions. What is innovation? Why innovate? Who innovates? And these generated some useful insights, and they were interesting to explore, but they didn't really get to the bottom of what innovation was. So I kept asking more questions, and I came to one that I think really challenged how I was thinking about innovation and challenged these earlier questions. And that was, who directs innovation? Who are the people who are actually allocating funds and resources to the projects and initiatives that we're calling innovative? And who are the people who are choosing how we're actually spending our human resources and energy? So here we have a picture of the Apple executive board. I mean, they're a pretty innovative company, and they make a lot of decisions that affect a lot of people's lives. And when we look at this board, we can see that there's some patterns emerging, and we can ask who's actually making decisions. When we look at the global leadership team for Apple, we see that 72% of positions are held by men, and 67% of positions are held by white people, which obviously doesn't reflect global population averages and demographics. And this is a company that's pretty proud of its diversity. And when we compare it to other companies in the innovative tech industry, it's actually pretty good at diversity. It's pretty good at including different people who aren't just white men. And we can see this pattern emerging and continuing into other areas of innovation. So I looked at venture capital, which are people who are actually funding new innovative startups and bringing these startups capital injections that would bring them success in the future. And what I found was that in the United States, 92% of senior investment team roles are held by men, and 78% of senior investment team roles are held by white people, which once again doesn't reflect demographics. And if we think of the Canadian government as an innovative place, I mean, government, it's debatable whether it's innovative, but there's definitely a lot of space for innovation. We see that 74% of people in our House of Commons are men, and 83% of people in our House of Commons are white. So we see this pattern happening. White men are directing innovation. But it's not so much just that it's white men, it's that a particularly privileged group of people are directing innovation and have a lot of control over what's happening in our society. And what that means is that whether consciously or subconsciously, funds end up going to people who are also of this particularly privileged group. And so I wanted to ask what this actually means. And for me, what this meant was that I needed to reassess my earlier questions and look at them through a different lens. I needed to ask not what is innovation, but maybe ask who defines innovation. And in this case, money talks. The projects that happen are the projects that we consider innovative. The projects that are brought into implementation and made widely available across North America are the ones that we hear about and think about, like Apple's projects, for example. So in reality, the people who are giving money and making these projects happen are the people who are defining innovation. They're giving funds to the projects that they see as innovative, and that's the way we start to think of innovation and the word innovation. So the directors of innovation are the people defining. And what that means is that there are some effects on the purpose of innovation. So we can ask again, why innovate? And what we see is that the people who are defining innovation have a lot of power in influencing this question. And we're innovating to serve their purposes. What this means is that they give funds to projects that they deem worthy, that they deem as innovative, and funds that are serving their goals now, what they think society should be like as a whole, and where they want us to go in the future. So we can also question further and say, who's innovating? Rather than asking that, we can say, who has no voice in innovation? Who are the people who are being excluded by the power structures in our innovation world? And who are the people who are being left out of defining innovation, directing innovation, influencing the purpose of innovation, and therefore left out of shaping what we're doing now to create a different tomorrow that may not be including all people's voices? So this comes back then to a basic question that's underlying a lot more than innovation, and that's who has power? A privileged group of people is defining innovation, it's defining the purpose of innovation, and it's deciding who to include in innovation. Colonial power structures are giving power to a specific group of people to have more influence in shaping our society now and our society as we go forward, which doesn't seem just. So we can think back to this idea of misinnovation, and we can think of some concrete examples, like Dyson spending $100 million researching a new hairdryer, or Apple spending almost $5 billion researching the iPhone 7, which didn't necessarily improve on the iPhone 6 and surely didn't help a lot of people around the world to live better quality of life. We can also think of areas where we've missed on innovation, like Canadian food bank system, which has been struggling to provide food security for people across this country for a long time. And we haven't been investing enough into changing this system or involving the voices of people who are actually in the system to make a better experience, because it doesn't serve the ends of the privileged people who are giving out the funds. So I think that if all people and all groups have a right to shaping our society now and shaping our world as we go forward, we need to shift misinnovation back to innovation. We need to include all people's voices, and not just include those voices in a way that's token, but really give all people actual power in making decisions and a right to that power. Not just saying, okay, well now we're going to put a few different people on the board of Apple, but actually involving the voices of people who are in China on the ground mining for Apple and giving them power to say, we don't want to do this project, or we do want to do this project, and consulting these people in the process throughout. And we might come not just to better products, but to products that are made in a better way throughout the process of actually creating that product. It also might shift away our priorities from being profit-driven for a select group of people to quality of life-driven for a larger group of people. And so it could have some social good. So I want to end with a quote from Rebecca Solnit, who's a prominent feminist author right now. And she says, "Having the right to show up and speak are basic to survival, to dignity, and to liberty." And I want to add that having the right to shape our current world and our future worlds, whether it's through innovation or through other means, is basic to a fair and just society. Thank you.